Welcome back to Horticulture Geek. It's been a minute. Welcome back, YouTube friends, to Horticulture Geek. I'm so glad you're tuning in to this video today. It has been a while since I put a video out. It is now December here in the garden, and I've just been crazy. It's one of those things where life happens. I know this happens to many YouTubers, and since this is not my job to do YouTube videos, I'm not a monetized channel, other things take priority for me. We had Thanksgiving, we had travel, so it was just a lot going on, and I'm finally in the mood to get out here and show you a few things in the garden today. I'm gonna start with our front porch and show you what we've done out there for Christmas, and I'm gonna show you the pots. What I do is, if you'll remember from my fall container videos, I put plants in the fall containers that will last all winter long. Some of the things that were specifically fall, like the mums and those things, have come out of those pots, and I have filled in the gaps with more plants, more cabbages, more pansies, and more dusty millers. So I'm going to show you those. You guys are not going to believe some of those cabbages out there, the ornamental cabbages, the original ones that I put in there from fall, are huge and they are gorgeous. So I'm gonna walk you out there and show you that, and I'm gonna show you our kind of front yard Christmas decorations, and then I'll come back later tonight and show you the house all lit up, and show you kind of what we do here at the Horticulture Geek Garden for our Christmas holiday. And then I'm also going to walk you around in the backyard for just a little bit and do a December garden tour so that you can see. There goes Garcia right there, checking out the garden. Water in the garden. That happens, right? But I want you to see where the garden sits right now. I by no means have a perfect winter garden. That is one of the areas that I'm lacking on, and I've said that before in many videos, that I need to work on my winter interest in my garden. There's still some things to look at, and there's some concepts I want you to see, but this is an ever-evolving garden. That's how it is with everyone. And, you know, you can look at so many videos of people that have these, like, wild, crazy, beautiful gardens out there right now in the middle of December and whatever. And you think, oh, my word, how do they do that? Well, they spend a lot of money getting those things to do that. And that's not the kind of garden I'm doing. I really have tried my best to make this garden a budget-friendly garden. Everything I've put out here has been through sweat equity, clearance sales, as cheap as I could make it, growing stuff from seed, scrounging stuff from neighbors and friends if they were getting rid of things. That's how I wanted to build this garden. And you have seen it in the summer and the spring and in the fall, and it's very beautiful in those times of the years. Right now at wintertime, this is where I'm lacking, but that's okay. We're gonna work on it. So I'll walk you around and show you that. So I'm glad you're here. So let me flip the camera around and get out to the front yard, and we're gonna start with showing you those fall pots. Here we go. Okay, so here is the front porch. Sorry, I didn't come out here and pre-sweep. This is life, right guys? But okay, let's look at these cabbages. Size comparison, hand, giant man hand, cabbage. Look at how beautiful this cabbage is. I've tucked in some more cabbages, pansies, dusty millers, more pansies. These pansies were here in fall, so they're a little bit bigger. I've tucked in some more cabbages, and this is my Swiss chard that's going. Same thing over here. I mean, look at the size of this cabbage. It is so pretty. And then here's my little snowman, and here's our front door. We've got our wreaths under our light fixtures. We've got lights on the roof, lights in the bushes, and our fun Christmas trees and the crepe myrtle trees are lit as well. Then I've got Santa Claus over here. Same thing, lights in the bushes, fun Christmas tree, another Santa Claus there, and my mailbox. So I know that was quick, but as you know, if you follow my channel, we live on a busy street. It's super noisy out there. I'm sure you heard lots of car traffic in the background. So that's just one of the things. But how awesome were those pots? One, I love my blue pots. And if you can't tell, blue is one of my favorite colors. I have it all through the gardens, front and back. And it tends to be the dominant color in the front of our house at Christmas time as well. So I've got my blue pots, I've got my blue lanterns, our garlands were predominantly blue ornaments, we've got lots of blue lights. I just love blue. And so that's what it evolves to, and so it just works out wonderfully. I think it looks nice. I hope you did too. And now let's go walk around. You can actually see blue all over the place behind me in the back garden too. So, and you see the ugly pool cover. If you know me, you know I hate that pool cover, but my neighbor has all those giant trees back there. There's no way around that. I have to cover my pool. I would be out here dipping 50 pounds of leaves out of that pool every single day otherwise. So, let me flip this camera around and let's just walk around the garden and see what things are looking like. All right, so we'll just kind of start right here. Here's our not crepe myrtle, Lord. This is our hydrangea that we are pruning into a standard. And so we had a hard freeze one night and all these leaves froze in place. So now, if you have this problem, this is a very common problem. And I've actually seen other YouTubers complaining about this or showing you this in some of their videos, some of the gardeners. The way that this winter happened, here, let me flip you back around. So the way that things happened this winter, we stayed warm for a while. And so the trees and the bushes and the plants didn't really drop their leaves very much because they weren't cold yet. But then we had a night where the temperature just plummeted. And what happened is everything froze onto the plants. And so now that we're back in the normal winter-ish, you had normal fall-ish temperatures, winterish temperatures, a lot of leaves are still hanging on plants. That's perfectly normal under this circumstance because the leaves were literally frozen in place. And so they didn't develop properly to really release in a timely manner. It's super simple to fix. All you have to do is knock the leaves off. So for instance, right here, you can see this stem. They're literally just ready to go. Done. So I just haven't done that yet. I guess I'm doing it right now. And then this will be cleaned up and looking a lot better. So sometimes you just have to do that. So there it is, all cleaned up. I do see a few branches that I'll need to prune, but I'll handle that later on. So here is my wheelbarrow planter. You guys have seen this before. It almost got buried between the hydrangea and the elephant ears and the caladiums that I had planted here this year. But it held its own, and I've got it planted up now for winter with the Dusty Millers and the pansies. Now here in my climate, we are a zone 7. Some charts have us as an 8B, 7A. We're right on the line here in central Arkansas. But these plants are all winter-long plants here. All right, so here is one of the raised beds. It is all cleaned out. And as you can see, I have been collecting and shredding leaves as they have fallen. Let me focus you in there. I've got these leaves ground up and put in here. Look at that. They're already turning to compost. It's just been a few weeks. There's pine needles in there. There's leaves in there. There's a healthy dose of acorns, which hopefully won't germinate too bad, but it is what it is under a big oak tree. Look at that. Look at how rich and wonderful that is already getting in there. So good. So I have been mowing and raking and bagging and chopping up these leaves and getting them added to the beds for winter compost. And I am going to come back through and add some blood meal to these beds. Hopefully I will show that in a video. But blood meal is going to provide the nitrogen source. You know, composting, you want browns and greens. So you've got your two ingredients, your browns and your greens, right? So if you know anything about composting, well, in a winter leaf situation like this, where I'm putting winter leaves directly in the beds, I don't have greens that I'm adding to this. So I've got to substitute my green, and I'm gonna do that with blood meal, which is high concentration of nitrogen, and it will work in there and help the microorganisms and stuff break down these leaves to provide a good, rich compost for this vegetable bed for next year. We've got these planters. I've got them. I don't even have the tags off these plants yet. I can't remember if I've showed you guys these planters or not, but these have been redone. They did have roses in them. And so now I have evergreens, and I've got some heuchera in there. I've got some pansies and some hostas that need to be trimmed back. And these are my asparagus ferns that need to be trimmed back. I just haven't made it over here. The ivy obviously is fine. So I just haven't made it over here to work on these pots in a few days. And these pots are dry. That's a no-no. So I've got to water these pots. Still lots of leaves to pick up. Here's a good spot to pause. I have been cutting back perennials. So this was a butterfly bush right here. There it is. You can see I've cut him back. This is a dianthus that has been trimmed. That needs to be, I left some stuff on it. It needs to be trimmed again. There's another perennial that's been pruned back. I've got a couple of bok choy left in the garden. Those are about ready to, I mean, we'll make a small salad, but that's what I've got left. I actually have some pansies and a couple cabbages left to tuck in somewhere if I want. I've got this ornamental cabbage, scarlet borer. So that's really pretty. I love the texture and the interest that this one brings. Real nice and loose. Got the fire pit set up for fall. I really enjoy this pot that I did for the winter. So I've got ivy in here growing up this topiary form. Got a cabbage in the center, completely surrounded by beautiful pansies. I mean, the orange and the purple pansies are just beautiful. They bring a lot of color. Here is the red twig dogwood, or the Arctic fire dogwood. I forget which exact variety this is, but it's a red twig dogwood. So you can see how beautiful these branches, how nice and red they get in the wintertime. Some of them are looking kind of brown. That's an indicator that they are not making it, so those need to be pruned out. But these that are beautiful colored red are good, strong, healthy branches, and those are branches that we would like to keep. Now, when you prune a plant like this, you want to prune it in thirds. So each year, you're only going to take away a third of the branches. And then the next year, you can take away another third. And that will allow it to grow and develop, but still let you prune a third out every single year to size control it and manage it, and to prune out the dead and the dying. Here are some echinaceas that I have not pruned because, one, they still looked good up until late, and these seed pods just provide a good little food source for birds. So I've decided to leave those for a little bit. I will come out here and get those in a little bit. Not today, but at some point, those will be pruned up. My grass, all the seed pods off the top of the grass are gone, so the grass is ready to be dealt with. It can be chopped up and composted. This melon sage back here is ready to be pruned down, so it'll get completely chopped down to the ground. All of these perennials through here will get pruned down. Let's see, this basket, I've got another ornamental cabbage and some more pansies. Same on this side. The peonies, so there's a peony there, and like that one over there that I was just pointing at, those will still get pruned down. These irises will get trimmed up. Oh, my little gnome. I bet the dog knocked him over. We'll just set him up. There we go. I love this pansy here. Look at how sweet and pretty that is. That rosy, pinky, reddy color with that yellow. Isn't that nice? Dusty Millers, they bring a lot of interest in that silvery color, and they will get big. You guys won't believe how big they get. Come springtime, when I'm ready to pull stuff out and actually do a spring planting, these will be huge. Now this is a big change since the last time I've had you guys back here. The Sweet Autumn Clematis is gone. If you remember from my latest video, my last video that I filmed back here, and if I remember, I'll try to throw a picture in right here. But that Sweet Autumn Clematis went from there all the way to there and completely covered. You could not see any fence. It was all, you couldn't see that birdhouse, like it was just all a mass. So I got that pruned back, and I will prune some more of this out down to the ground there. Here is something new. I found an evergreen winter interest on the clearance rack. So this is a dwarf Mugo pine I picked up for $10, and I popped him in right there. He's surrounded by lamb's ear, which will get pruned back. So if you have lamb's ear in your garden, I want to point this out. It's a perennial, as you can see on the ground. I mean, mine's covered in pine needles and leaves, but it's still going right now in the wintertime. But the wintertime is really a good time to prune your lamb's ear, because if you wait till spring, all winter long, all the dead, dying, and defunct foliage and branches on that thing, they're going to freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw. They're going to take up moisture, and come spring, when you get ready to clean that plant up, it's going to be mushy and rotten and messy, and it's much harder to deal with if you wait till spring. I know some tags will tell you to wait till spring to prune your lamb's ear, but I recommend you do it in winter, because you can see what's growing, you can see what's dead, and you can clean out all the mess before it becomes a bigger problem. I got this trellis cleaned up. Gosh, I still have to clean those pots out. I just noticed that. I had completely forgot about those. So, you know, living real life here, folks. Showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I had completely been overlooking those until just now looking through this camera. So I'll get those cleaned out. I've pruned back some of the perennials in this area. That's a Gomphrena that just will get pulled out. It still has a little color left in it, which is why I haven't pulled it out up until this point, because this sucker was hanging on to the last minute, so I was letting him go. This is the time of year that the dwarf Nandinas are really looking nice. So they do provide winter interest for me. They have lots of nice red foliage. So I've got one there, one over there, and one there. So that is some winter interest that I do have, and I do enjoy these. And they're easy to prune, easy to size control. I've let this one get a little bit big, so he will get a good haircut at some point. You can see dianthus growing here, and there's a dianthus bloom. All of these perennials have gotten cut down except for a few. So it's just a work in progress. This is where we're at. Come February, this rose bush will get a massive haircut. Roses you prune in February at Valentine's Day. That's your general basic rule of thumb that everybody can usually remember. Roses, Valentine's Day, prune them. So this guy will get a good prune on Valentine's Day, because I did not prune him last year because I purposely wanted him to get big, but now he's too big, so he's got to come back down. And elephant ears, you see them back there. When elephant ears get this size, I mean, this guy's huge. I have found it's better. I'll come in and prune a little bit on him, but I'm not going to touch, obviously, I'm not going to touch that trunk. That trunk is going to have to do its own thing, and whatever's left in spring will get cleaned up. But I'm just going to leave him and let him do his thing. This is a great example of some more lamb's ear. So you can see it's green, it's growing, it feels wonderful still, but right here, I've got all this mess. Well, I can just come in here right now and pick all that up, and it's still woolly and nice to deal with. It's not sloopy or gunky or gross. Now's a great time to get this plant cleaned up. So I'm probably gonna get out here in the next few days and make that happen. All right, and the last two pots I wanted to show you are these two right here, which are on either side of our gate, just because I think they're really nice. I'm enjoying them. So I've got 4 cabbages flanked with purple and orange pansies. I mean, how pretty is that? Stunning. I love it. And I've got the structure of the plum trees up above, and then the pretty blue pots, and then the pop of the plant color. So I'm really enjoying these this year as well. They're simple, but really nice, not expensive, provides a lot of color, a good pop. So I'm enjoying these. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that quick walk around the garden and seeing kind of where things are at. I hope you enjoyed seeing my Christmas decorations. I am going to end this video with the nighttime scene of the house all lit up. So that'll be here in just a few seconds. But I wanted to bring you a video because I haven't done that in a while. So I hope you found it interesting. I hope maybe I was able to throw a few tidbits out there, some random gardening information that is going to help you. Maybe something will inspire you. You know, gardens are a work in progress. I've always been very upfront with that. I know there are some major gardening and major homesteading YouTube channels that I love to watch. But if you read comments on some of those channels, I think it really people don't understand that big, beautiful, massive gardens chock full of stuff and big, awesome homesteads full of big gardens and animals and equipment and all this stuff is not an overnight project. You cannot wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be a gardener or I'm going to be a homesteader and expect to have everything right then and there. Gardens and farms and homesteads take time. They are a process to build. Some people are blessed with finances that they can go out and build stuff more quickly than others. And some people aren't. So if you are not someone who is blessed with the finances that you can just go out and buy what you want, this is probably more realistic of what your winter garden is going to look like. Because it's easy as a gardener to get excited about the spring plantings and the seeds and finding stuff during the summer when it's in full bloom and it's beautiful and you fill up your garden. But in the wintertime, your garden budget's gone, you're inside, it's cold, you don't want to come outside and work. This is a struggle that all gardeners face, and that's why a lot of home gardens don't have a lot of winter interest, and that's okay. I know it's the area that I want to work on, and so hopefully this video will inspire some of you out there that you want to work on your winter interest in your gardens. It's okay. Take it one day at a time. I hope you stay tuned to more videos here at Horticulture Geek. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, please hit that subscription button and ring that notification bell so that you know every time I post a new video. A video that is coming up very soon is our Christmas tree tour video. So we'll take you in the house and show you all of our Christmas trees. We have 7 Christmas trees in the house this year. So we will walk through those, show you those. Mrs. Horticulture Geek has a big hand in designing those and picking out all the stuff for them. So I won't take credit for her work, but I will be the one behind the camera talking to you guys because she doesn't like being on the channel. So, and that's perfectly cool. So stay tuned for that video. I think a lot of you will enjoy it, seeing the Christmas trees in the house this year. If you've watched our previous Christmas tree tour video from last year, some of them are a bit similar, but that's just the way it is, right? When you're working on a budget, who can afford to have a brand new Christmas tree completely with brand new ornaments every single year? But I want you to stay tuned. I want you to see it because I think you are really going to enjoy it. And then I'm also going to be bringing you a video, like I said, hopefully, where I show you working blood meal into the mulched leaf areas where I've got that leaf in the beds to compost down. Hopefully I'll be gathering some more leaves as a few more fall or blow into the yard. There's some over on this side of the yard that's stuff to clean up. So I've got that coming up. And I also have to compost the yard. So one of the major winter projects for any gardener, December, January, February are good months to compost your beds. So if you make your own compost, fantastic. If not, so this is the time of year where you want to source your compost and get compost put in your beds, vegetable beds or flower beds, perennial, annual, doesn't matter. You've got to feed your soil. If you want to have a beautiful, thriving garden, you've got to have a soil base that can support those plants. And to do that, you need to compost and add nutrients and microorganisms back into the soil that the plants take out every year. So I've got to work on that, and so that video will hopefully be coming up. I've got to decide where I'm getting my mulch from this year. I'm gonna go the bulk the bulk compost route this year. There's a couple of sources for that near me. So I think I'm gonna do that. Bag stuff is usually easier because you just pick up a bag and dump it, but it tends to get a little more expensive. So we'll see how it plays out. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. The dog saw a squirrel or something, who knows. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in to Horticulture Geek. I hope everybody's having a wonderfully blessed holiday season. And until next time, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.